Am I right? No.
Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside.
Hey all, Tan Man here in the Tanmobile, I guess. I'm gearing up to go to Beach Boulevard. I'm gonna go to all the way up and down Beach Boulevard. I'm gonna hand out supplies. In this bag, I've got 8, 9 or so water bottles. You know, a bunch of granola bars and applesauce just filled to the brim. I know it doesn't really sound like a lot, but you know, we don't have a really large homeless population here in Huntington Beach because the city tends to kick them all out. But with what little I can do, I've decided to do. I'm half masking today because it's very windy outside and I kind of don't want a repeat of the incident. So this is just my pre-patrol rambling before I really get into it. I didn't bring the body cam this time because I don't really have anything to affix it to. I'm still figuring out the clip system and whatnot. So there's not going to be as much footage of me, you know, doing things. I'm not going to be doing the vlog style sort of deal, but I'll just let you guys know how it goes. This is just for documentation. Hey, so I'm here at the spot where I'm about to patrol. I'm leaving the right hand glove off so I can tap the phone because I don't need my gloves in my car. I'm a little nervous. You know, I've done one patrol before and I'm still nervous, even though this time I'm doing something significantly more meaningful. I don't know, I feel weirdly anxious about it. But that's the good thing about getting into RLSH, real life superheroism. There was a study done. I'm soapboxing here. I'll post my sources. I'll leave my sources right here. A study done in the University of Minnesota in which children were given a boring, repetitive task. You know, something like sitting at a computer and click whenever the two images are the same, whatever. And it was found that the kids who were like 6 years old, by the way, 6-year-olds, who were dressed as like Batman would stick with the task and be significantly more locked in and productive than the children who weren't dressed as anything. And this is already like a known science, like the idea of, oh, if you put on an alter ego, it's easier to do things. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to play into with this whole Tan Man thing, which to people who know me in real life already is kind of failing because this is the exact kind of thing I would explain to people already outside of the alter ego. But it's helping because the Tan Man is like my whole patrol persona. But now that I think about it, I've rambled already. You know, this is great content for the YouTube, whatever. But you know, I'll link the study below. I'll link some other helpful facts. Already in my last episode, I talked about the Batman effect when it came to how it affects other people. But internally, this is how RLSH affects me and makes me more able to do things for the people around me and my community. And so, with that said, I'm going to go out and do it now. And I did do it. I don't have any footage of anything I did. And to be honest, all of the vlog, you know, talking camera sort of things were all very repetitive. But after my patrol, I had this moment of reflection in my car. And I'm just going to let that play out unedited for you guys because it was kind of huge for me, like personally. I know we're really speedrunning character arcs with this whole thing. You've only known me for 2 episodes. Hey everyone. Sorry it's so dark inside the Tanmobile. It got dark out while I was, you know, out on patrol. And so I just want to do some closing thoughts now that the patrol is over. And discuss something, you know, way more internal. I know this is only the 2nd episode, but we're really speedrunning a character arc here. I was really having doubts on the initial stretch of the patrol. I was asking people if they needed anything, if they wanted waters. A lot of people just said no, and that sort of thing. And I was getting really discouraged. I was like, man, I guess that like it's hard to get something done without that trust there, and it feels weird doing something alone. And I just kept thinking like, how did Skyline do it? Well, he kept at it. And I remembered that his first patrols were in places that he didn't even live in. That wasn't his suburb. Albuquerque, he doesn't live in Albuquerque. And so I just kept walking, kept at it. And I personally have this philosophy. It's a pretty toxic philosophy, all things considered, but when it comes down to things, I always think of it as things are either 0 or they're 100, and they tend to lean towards 0. And so I was thinking this way while I was walking, that either I'm gonna get rid of all of my supplies, or I won't be able to help anyone out. And then I saw this woman laying in the grass, on a blanket, surrounded by her belongings, sleeping. And I walked up to her little hill where she was, and I left her 2 water bottles, a granola bar, and an applesauce. And it did something weird to my brain and my philosophy. I was thinking like, well, I guess it's either 0 or 100, but just because it's 0 all the time, that 100 really hits, and then things just kept going well after that. I was making my way to the encampment that I wanted as my end destination, and there was this guy outside, and I already said all this before, and he was eating food with his dog, and I gave him a water bottle, and he wanted applesauce, so I gave him 2 applesauces. He said, "Beware the dog," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And when I got there, there was a dog, and it started barking on the other side of something. But thanks to his heads up, I wasn't caught off guard, which is really nice because I'm a super jumpy person. And I left 3 water bottles, 2 applesauces, and 2 granola bars. I think that's a rough estimate. I was kind of just throwing things out there because I assumed that was the end of my patrol. And I passed out like a good amount of my supplies, almost everything. But I left some, just in case. And so when I was coming back, I saw this guy in a wheelchair, that I didn't see on the way there. And for some reason, I guess because I dropped the character or something, my weird autopilot, that societal conditioning to look away from someone in need and walk past them kicked in, and I immediately felt this pang. And because you walk past these people because it's like, oh, there's nothing I could do for them, or like or something like that. But I could. And so I turned around and I went up to him and I asked, how are you doing? How's your day? Do you want a water bottle? And he said, yeah, I would love a water bottle. And I gave him a water bottle and 2 granola bars, and he was so thankful. And it was, it was great. I mean, all of this superhero stuff is, I don't know, it really means something, I honestly was being very reductionist when I said it was just putting on a costume and doing community service. It really, really means something, because I don't feel like I'm just doing volunteer work. I feel like I'm fucking Daredevil, like I'm figuring things out, because I mean, I don't have a shitty life or anything. I just, I go through a lot. And so this was just a really nice release. I'm sorry to be so personal, Tan Man, and obviously it's weird to, there are these people in need and I'm making it all about me, but it was really nice. I'm glad. I'm glad that's why I guess people like us do it, I mean, I'm a goddamn superhero. I was so bummed out when I started, and now I'm really, I'm in it. But yeah, that was episode 2. next time, I think there's gonna be something more fun.